I'm Mallory Matheny. I go to Bishop Hartley High School. I'm committed to Indiana University and I play club at Mintonette Sports. I fell in love with the game of volleyball probably when I was about like 7 or 8. I was originally dancing and doing tennis at the time, as well as I was like really competitive in swimming. So like balancing all three of those, being the tall girl in the back for dance, I just could not do that anymore. So besides swim, I decided to start going to some clinics whenever I was younger in like this barn in the middle of like country roads, and I just fell in love with it right there and then. Playing Division I wasn't always the goal. I think that I didn't really even have that thought that I was gonna like be able to play in college at the time. Like I was 14 and I was like, wow, colleges are reaching out, like this is amazing. Like I'd never thought this would ever happen to me. So when that started happening, then obviously that became one of my biggest goals and dreams and everything that I wanted to accomplish. I wanted to be surrounded by people that want to make me better every day, and I feel like they do a really good job of like keeping everybody so close-knit, as well as like pushing each other every day in and out of the gym, school, academics, everything, like all the aspects in one. I just felt like I could tell them anything. Like you almost have to pick, at least I picked for me, like I wanted family away from family, and like they're basically gonna be my parents. Like they're the closest thing I have to parents far away from home. So having that in my corner always is just awesome. The moment I committed, I was on the way home and I kind of knew. I was on the way home from another camp and I was like, I kind of knew. Like it was June 16th, I was on the way home. I was like, Mom, I think I know where I want to go to school. And she's like, well, don't do it yet. Like you need to wait. And I was like, okay, like I'll wait till we get home. I get home, I call my dad like right before we got home. I was like, Dad, I'm gonna commit. And he was like, okay, like just wait till you get home. And I get home and he like gives me this big hug and he's like crying, and it made me really like sappy, you know, the dad hugs always get to you, but it was a really sweet moment. And then we called my coach and we were all sitting here on the couch. And then, yeah. Advice I would give to younger players for college and recruitment, I would definitely say to almost imagine that they're not there. Obviously that's like something really hard to do, but imagining that they're not there all the time when you're playing, like just focusing on your team, what you need to do to win, like doing the best that you can do is definitely what I would say, because a lot of people get in their head when they're like, they turn around, they're like, oh my God, this school's here, this school's here. So just like staying locked in with your team, that makes you play a lot better, that'll impress them way more than you looking at them. So that's the advice I would give about recruitment. Advice I would give to younger players would definitely be to like work hard for what you want, because you're gonna be the one that determines, like, you know what you want in your head and your soul. So if you want something, like, you can always go and get it. You can always work harder for it. So that's definitely like a piece of advice I've taken with me. The hardest part of my journey so far, I think, honestly, it's been like the mental aspect of volleyball, because I didn't really, like, at a younger age, like, you play I started playing when I was like 10, 11. So starting then and then to where I am now, I had no idea like all the mental ups and downs that came with it. Obviously, like you grow up, you get a little bit more emotional than you were. It's not always like happy little kid volleyball, but just being able to like overcome different circumstances is definitely like pretty cool. I've always like pushed myself to keep working hard when no one's watching, because my parents have preached to me probably since like when I was in the womb that like you're always gonna work hard when no one's watching. Like that's how we roll in this house. And so ever since then, like hearing that like all growing up, I just constantly, I'm like, I'm gonna be the hardest worker in the gym. Every single day I go to practice when I was little, I'd be like, I'm gonna be the hardest worker in the gym. I'm gonna give my 110%, everything I have left in the tank, just get after it. And whatever that looks like, that's what I was gonna give. I'm excited for college volleyball in general because it's something new, and it's also like the game of volleyball is growing in general. So to be a part of that and just like at the college level is really exciting. To not only like play my friends across the country that I've met through NTDP and stuff like that, but I'm excited that the conference has expanded, especially like the Big Ten. Like every conference is really strong, but especially like the Big Ten, getting to travel to places like Oregon, Washington, USC, that's across the country, which is awesome, and I'm so excited to play at like places like that. I see myself growing the most as becoming an adult, honestly, because I've always just had extra help all the time. So being able to like kind of branch out on my own and figure things out for myself is gonna be like bit of a challenge, but I think I'll be able to do it. My experience with NTDP has definitely been super positive. We always get different position coaches, so every single time I go there, I always have a different piece to setting that I just add to my toolbox. And it's just like super cool that I can just go there for 4 days and train with the best in the nation and just all out, and then come back and get even better at like my skills, and then get to go back like and see my best friends like 4 times a year. Personal goals I have during college are definitely like educational. I would say to like get a degree in health sciences. I'd like to become a physical therapist. From an athletic standpoint, would definitely be like winning Indiana's first national championship, which would be pretty freaking sweet. First team All-American, just super cool athletic achievements like that would just be so awesome to do. And I feel like the more you grind towards your goals, like the closer you'll get. So hopefully by the time I'm done in college, which is crazy to say, but hopefully by the time I'm done, I'll have achieved a bunch of those goals. I definitely think like I've highly considered playing pro. Like my parents have always been like, oh, well, like, do you want to like start like your normal life? Because like volleyball isn't always forever, even though sometimes it is. I would love for it to be forever, but you never know, like something can change. Definitely with the pro leagues in the US, I would love to play for a pro team here. I think like the more it grows, especially with this 3rd league coming, I think it's gonna be pretty cool by the time I'm done with college, so it would be pretty sweet to be able to get drafted and play. My favorite pregame song, probably since like 8th grade or freshman year, would be Love Sosa by Chief Keef. It's probably like, I don't know, just something about the intro, and like me and my teammates always get hyped up in the locker room to it. Like, I don't know, it's just kind of, and like Alia and like some of my club teammates we'll all connect our headphones and stuff, and we'll all listen to the same thing, and that's always the song that comes on. Favorite post-game snack? I don't really know if this is a snack, it's kind of like a meal, because I eat a lot after we play. So post-game, I normally am thinking like my favorite Mexican restaurant here in Columbus. It's called Blue Agave. I also really like Sweet Green. It's also here in Columbus. If I had to pick like a snack itself, I would probably say pickles. I love pickles with my whole heart. I love pickles. I could live off of them. I would probably say one word to describe my game would be gritty or energetic, because I'm constantly like doing everything I can in my power with my team to like win the point as quick as we can or as scrappy as we can make it happen. And I also bring so much energy to the table constantly, like throughout like the entire game. It's kind of crazy sometimes, but it's fun. I don't think high school and club should have a replay system, because it honestly like adds something different to the college level. I think it kind of separates it from the level that we play at now to the level that they're already at. So not having it kind of like makes it interesting when you get there and you're like, oh, replay, but then like you're like, oh, I didn't touch that, and they call it a touch, but then they go back, and it like makes the game way more exciting when there's like suspense to it. It honestly depends. Refs can be totally strict or totally like relaxed about it. It literally depends on high school, club. It genuinely depends on the kind of refs that you have, because it differentiates like every game. They're too strict on me. I feel like, yeah, they're definitely too strict, definitely. I think it's super cool how the professional game is growing so quickly, especially that it's 3 leagues. It's kind of confusing, but the fact that there were like no leagues in the US like a year or 2 ago, and now there's 3, and you don't have to go overseas to play pro, that's like pretty special. My biggest inspiration is probably my brother, because he constantly like looks up to me and kind of copies what I do always, because he's like, you know, little brother, that's what they kind of do. But he always is like, oh, Mallory, like, you got it, like, you got to do this, you can do that, like, oh, you do this, you do that. So like just kind of like being a role model for him and showing him like how to work hard, as well as like what it takes, and like what he's seen me go through over the years is like pretty sappy but cool. One of my biggest role models is probably Kristen Kelsey, because she just totally is like such a good person and human being, and just the way that she holds herself everywhere she goes, no matter what she's doing, it's just like she is her. Like she's just like the most awesome human being you could ever imagine. She has all the pieces and parts. Like she constantly is like helping you, whether it's like on or off the volleyball court. I met her probably like a year and a half ago, maybe, something like that. And ever since then, like it's been so cool to just like have her in my corner. Like I'll randomly see her at a tournament recruiting and I'm like, oh my God, Kristen. And I'm like freaking out as I'm in the middle of a game, but I'm like, oh my God, like that's my girl. Like that's my favorite person. Like, so it's just pretty cool to have somebody like that in your corner, for sure. One overrated skill or stat would probably be, I think, tooling the block. I think it like is honestly so annoying because it's like, it's not like you're doing some like amazing, cool, like I'm gonna go up there and just like wipe it and like, oh, there's our point. I'm just gonna trick them and just like, it's just like, I would much rather my teammates go up and like swing and like hit the top of somebody's hands, and, like make this huge touch or like big play, make a huge rally and play it out, like battle it out versus just like going up there, tool. I honestly think that club volleyball isn't focused on recruiting as much as development. I think at least where I come from at Mintonette, they really focus on developing you from like the get-go. Like the second you walk in the door, doing the clinics before you're even a part of one of the teams, they're constantly trying to teach you like, oh, your platform needs to be this way. We're using angles. We're not passing in our midline. Like that's like some of the first things that you learn. So I think you really don't start talking about recruiting until you're 14, 15, 16, maybe even just the end of 15, beginning of 16s. But yeah, playing year-round is necessary to play Division I, in my opinion, because it allows you to understand the game better. You get more knowledge by playing and as well as watching, but I would definitely say like the more you play, the more you understand the game, the more you learn different skills and like what you need to work on, what you don't need to work on to go Division I, so it's very helpful. I feel like coaches or recruiters should maybe stop, it might sound bad, but I feel like this could be true for some schools, could not be true for others. Like whenever I was going through the process, I constantly got, before June 15th, I constantly got those questionnaires. Like I would get like 3 of them from a school a week. Like it was like overloading. They were like 20 questions sometimes. I was like, whoa, this is a lot. And they're all the same question and answer. So it's like you're typing the same things over and over and over, and that's all you're doing until June 15th for like a whole year. So it's like maybe some like a few out or like email and email back through your club director, so it's not always like robot, like you feel like you're talking to a robot. Instead you actually feel like, oh, like they reach out to my club director to forward to me so I can answer, even though we can't have direct contact. So I felt like that was more like, wow, they really care about me, knowing that they're reaching out to my director, he has to send it to me, then I just answer back. It felt a lot more heartfelt. And yeah. Beach. You definitely have to have like, I'm not saying you don't have to have a high level IQ for indoor, but beaches, 2 people on sand, it's really hard to run in the sand. It's a bunch of like shots. It's a whole different level of the game. It's just really intense and awesome. I would probably say what I would like to see change in volleyball culture is like the maturity almost of like, by the time you get to like 15s, maybe no more of the like whole like clapping for cheering and like the whole dance moves with it. Like it's fun to a point until you're 16, 17, and then like people are still doing it and you're like, what? And you're like, it just wasn't like that big of a point or anything, but it's just like, yeah, I don't know. I think that NIL deals can be both for better and worse. I think that if you abuse the system, it can impact you negatively, and I think if you use it smart, like if you make smart decisions with it, you can have a very positive impact with it and make a really good name for yourself, but it just kind of depends on how you use it and if you do the right thing. They need to like implement more, not add or take away necessarily, but I would say implement more like the back row attack on the 10-foot line. I think that a lot of the times the down refs don't pay attention, and so constantly like they're over the 10-foot line all the time, and it's totally unfair because if you have somebody who's 6'4", like Henley or Hallie, then they're jumping over the line and could literally blow your head off. and nobody's going to call them over. So I think that if they implemented that more and paid a little bit more attention to that, that would be better for the other opposing team.